Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Loan Officer Marketing Podcast. We are at 11 new potential qualified realtor referral relationships from the strategy that you're going to learn today with our incredible guest, Steve Smith. Steve, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you.
Man, I know how busy you are, so I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, I do have to head out to a couple open houses today. So,
That's awesome. So you are doing well. You know what? I'd love to have you explain what you're doing to the audience to generate these new opportunities with qualified real estate agents.
sure. I'll give a little background. I did loans years ago. I'm an old guy, back in the 80s. And then I switched to appraising. And I owned an appraisal company and I owned an appraisal management company for 15 years.
Wow.
Nationwide, we were in 42 states, and I sold it last year. And I was going to
Congratulations.
retire, and I said, no, I needed something to do. So I went back to loans. And I found that back in the 80s, marketing was different than today. So, so I started. I got hooked up with the CRM that you guys have and loan officer marketing, and I just like the way it works. But I don't like cold calling. So
Yeah,
nobody does, but you have to do it. You know, it's part of the
that's
game.
right. Yep.
So I figured I'd incorporate what I did back in the 80s, when there was no internet or anything like that. So I because when I started then, I would go to open houses, I'd go to broker previews, I'd go to everywhere there was agents, right? So I started looking up with the what do we have here? What's it called again? That
The qualified
agent
agent list?
qualified agent list. Yeah. So I went
Yes.
on
Okay.
that into Redder, and Redder gives you so much information about every agent out there. So I got on my MLS and I started looking at open houses, and I find the high end guys that are doing
Yep.
a lot. I mean, at, what I found though with the guys that are doing their what they call the whales, I guess, right?
Yep. Yeah.
They usually have someone showing their property for them.
Yes. Yep.
And so that's kind of like a cold call trying to get into, past the guard gate, right?
Yep.
But the ones that are showing themselves, you can see on the MLS who's showing the property for them. It tells you who the listing agent or who the showing agent is. So you head out there, and like I said, I use the Thor's hammer. And first thing I walk in, hey, John or whatever, and I see your numbers. I'm a stats kind of guy, and I see that you are killing it. How do you do it? And they'll go off and tell you all about their whole life because they want to talk about themselves.
Yep.
And then I sit down with them for if they want me to sit down if nobody's there. But if there's somebody looking at the house, I won't stay. I'll
Right.
just that's it. And then I ask them if I can call them during the week again and go from there. It's pretty
That
simple.
but effective. So,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you know this or not, but you can access all that data of the open houses and everything right inside the loan officer CRM. So you can go to the qualified agent tab, and all the data is in there for you. And there's brand new data that's been added in there. So that's
Yeah,
worth
they
checking.
do have the open houses in that. I found that MLS is a little more has a little more of them in there. I
Yep.
could click on an agent and that I'd like to meet and see if they have any open houses.
Yep.
Sometimes they don't show up. I might be an overlap and not showing up from the MLS to the CRM. But for the most part, I like doing on the MLS just because that's what I've been doing for years as an appraiser, as a, and I'm also a real estate agent too. But I just got both my licenses, my sales license and my NMLS. So I'm
Um,
relatively starting fresh. I got this all together back in November, but I told myself I was going to start January 1st.
Yep.
And that's when I started doing this, January 1st. So,
That is amazing. So you already have 11 relationships that you're following up with every
right.
week because you've met them at open houses, had a great intro, and they're open to hearing from you every week. And then you're using those follow-up calls to then ask for the business as you
Yeah,
move the
yeah.
relationship forward.
I've gone to two out of the 11 that I got. Well, I have three that I got on Saturday, this last Saturday. Because that's typically if you go out and you go to an open house, you can call them yours. You can say they're put them in your database because you've already made a contact with them. You know them. You can't. It's not like a cold call when you say, "Hey, can I call you back?" and you can't move them along.
Yep.
Once you've already been face to face, I think it's a lot easier to move them forward and say, "Hey, let's talk." And
Yep.
so from the first week, I got four. I typically give about four every week because
Okay.
you don't have time to get to that many open houses. I'll schedule them on my schedule. I'll say seven, eight, maybe that I want to see,
Yep.
and I get to three or four of them.
Right.
And I do them all in one city or another city. So, and I try to go straight for the, anybody that closes. Well, like this today, I'm gonna go. I have four, five of them I want to see, and two of them have closed 8 deals last year, and one of them was a 4 buyer, 4 seller, and the other one was 5 buyer, 3 seller. So that's kind of the market I'm looking for right now. Because like I said, what I tried to go to the big guys, the guys that are doing 160 a year,
Yep.
and they they don't even know. The guy showing probably doesn't even know who the listing agent is. So.
Right. But a great way to reach out afterwards and be like, hey, I was at one of your open houses this weekend.
Exactly.
And oh, by the way, because there's so many ways that we can add value to the people that are doing the open houses, like the people that have those listings. Inside the loan officer CRM, we've got the check-in sheet. So you can offer the QR code in the check-in sheet, and it's like, hey, we'll automatically follow up with everybody that checks into your open houses and send you a list of everybody. So you can offer
Right.
them the digital check-in sheet. And then MoveTube is a great way to open up those relationships as well. So I had Nate Carver on the podcast, and that's one of the things that he's getting really great traction with, talking to agents that are doing specifically a lot of listings. So he offers MoveTube so that they can have the listing of the house up on the TV when they're doing the actual open house. And it helps with the sign-in sheets. And then our check-in sheet essentially goes on with that as well. So there's lots of different ways within the community for you to even offer more value when you're doing the follow-ups after you've met them, which is incredible.
That was my next thing to do is that the sheet where they can, hey, scan here, and if you like home, we can pre-qualify you, right away, that kind of thing, and don't get into something that you can't afford, kind of thing. So what I've also been doing, what I found with the bigger guys that have someone showing, I will send an email and a text to the head guy saying
Yep.
how well that their showing person represented themselves. And hey, your girl Daniela, she was so professional. I walked in, she was showing somebody, and I watched her go around the house. She was awesome, and she did a great job. And so I said, I did that. I did that this last week. The first time I thought about that one, I went, hey, I might as well. If I can't talk to the big guy, I might as well tell him how good his support is doing. So.
Yep. That is amazing. That is
Yeah.
absolutely so. Out of all the open houses that you go to, what would you say is like somebody decides to try this out? What do you say is your hit rate on the people that you have a good conversation with, that you have like a move forward relationship that you feel that you can start building?
If you do your homework on the people and if they're successful already, you can tell them how good they are.
Yeah.
I think it's probably at least 75%.
Wow.
I can go to, I mean, out of the 11 people right now, I could call them all up right now. I don't know if I would get a response to, hey, come over right now, let's go coffee, but I think, like I said, about 75% of them are willing to talk to you again, for sure.
Oh, 100%. And all you're doing is you're building your funnel, right?
Yeah.
Because we know, especially with qualified agents, they'll typically tell you, hey, I have to give out 3 names, or I already have a relationship with a lender. And, on Breakfast Club, we hear story after story after story of I've been following up for 7 weeks or 9 weeks or 11 weeks or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden that first referral comes in.
Right.
Then once you actually do the follow up with the client, and touch the lead, touch the partner, follow the daily success plan, that's when you really win it. But every one of these that you put into the hopper that you reach out to once a week, you're just building that pipeline. It's incredible to watch it happen, Steve. You're just crushing it.
Yeah, it's exciting to do it this way, but like I said, I haven't got anything yet. I'm brand. I'm not that I'm brand new. I'm reinventing myself and reinventing what I'm doing because I haven't done it in so long.
Yep.
So I basically am starting from scratch, but I do know the business. I do know the terminology. I know how to talk to people. I know what people are looking for. It's just getting that base underneath. And as soon as somebody calls and gives me a referral, I'm going to call you right away and say, hey, it's working. But for now, I mean, like you said, it's what is it, 29th. I've been doing it for 3 weeks now.
Yep.
And it's going to take a little time, but like I said, I mean, I had a really good conversation on Saturday, this last Saturday, with two guys doing they own a company in a town by me, and they grew up where I grew up. They went to the same elementary, junior high, high school, and they're younger than me, and we hit it off really well. And they even said, "Hey, I automatically give, like you said, they give out three guys, and hey, I'll give me a chance to be one of the three guys. That's it.
Yep.
That's all I care about."
Yeah, absolutely. The opportunity to work the deal together. But
Yeah,
the reason why I wanted to have you on the show is because it just shows that building the pipeline and making the personal connection is what it's all about. Because you will turn those 11. I mean, you're only 29 days in. Like
yeah,
that's that's one new potential referral partner every 3 days that you've been doing the thing. And if you make those weekly calls and you do that follow up, it'll come, the business will come. But your patience of understanding, like, hey, I'm going to do this thing and it's going to take 90 days to get the base built, to get the thing. And then you build a business on top of it. And to see
right.
through those success steps
Yeah,
is just
I
amazing.
wish it was faster, but but I mean, I think the only way to get it faster would be through your own sphere. I think as somebody knows that you're doing it, they'll call you right up, call you up. Hey, will you help me?
Yeah,
But to get the base of the realtors, because technically, I think the, everybody says realtors are, old and you can't really do rely on them. It's not the way that you're supposed to do financial planning and stuff like that. The base has to be realtors. It has to
100%.
be. Yeah. And I do the same exact thing with financial planners too. I look them all up and then try to find out who they're associated with and stuff. But that's really more of a cold call than anything else. But yeah,
Yeah.
but I like this because I'm a people person. I'll talk to people in elevators. I don't care. Uh, I'm not so much of a salesperson as I am a people person, and
Yep.
I think that's what matters more to the realtors. They want somebody they can understand and trust rather than some guy that's going to try to sell them. And that's
Yep.
not what I try to do. So I just want to be their friend and get their business. So
That is amazing. Well, you are going about it right, Stephen. I can't wait to watch your journey. And thank you so much for taking the time
oh, you're
to be
welcome.
on
Thank
the
you.
show. Awesome. Steve, where do people go to find more information about you?
Steve at Honor Mortgage Solutions. That's me.
Awesome.com.
.com. Yeah, I was told you're not supposed to say .com anymore. I don't know how that's how old I am.
No, it's all good. Well, but all that information will be in the show notes. And
Yeah.
again, thank you for being on the show, and to all of our wonderful listeners, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the opportunity.